All right, there we go. Let's get everybody else up in here before it's officially time for an episode of Broncos for Breakfast. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Welcome in, guys. It is 7:34 a.m., March 3rd, 2022. The NFL Combine is underway. It's Thursday morning. The weekend is almost here, but Thursday morning, it's time for an episode of Broncos for Breakfast. I am your host, Nick Kendell, and joined by, as always, co-host out there in Georgia, Scott Kennedy. Scott, good morning to you, man. I know you're feeling it, man. It's the best time of the year. I'm so excited about all the news.
I must be rubbing off on you. I like the way you had that Georgia. There's a little more
Leaned into it.
oomph in the Georgia in there,
I
not just Georgia. So I like it. We had to go live. We're sitting here talking because getting everybody in, letting YouTube getting warmed up. It's like we're wasting some of our good stuff on this already. So we've been having fun already. We're ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Obviously, Broncos for Breakfast every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday morning. We're both for Mile High Huddle. You can make sure you're following our Facebook group, milehighhuddle.com or facebook.com/Mile High Huddle and /Mile High Huddle pod. Also, if you're joining us today, please like, subscribe, and share. I see that we got only 2 likes yet, but the views are starting to come in. We appreciate that. Also, that hat is ridiculous. Carl, you don't have to hate on me. I think your hat is cute. So let's get into that. Let's talk about that, huh? No, guys, we want to talk a little bit today. Kicking it off is the Broncos 2021 draft class continues to bring in accolades, but probably their biggest one so far, voted upon by their peers. The Broncos 2021 class was voted as the best draft class last season. So before we really dig into that, let's say hello to some of our favorites in here. You're all our favorites, but Dave coming in with the hearts. Appreciate you, Dave. Hope you're doing well. EJ's in the house saying good morning, Nick and Scott in Broncos country. Hashtag pray for Ukraine. Absolutely. Absolutely. Luke Wright coming in saying, good morning, Nick and Scott. I'm driving to Las Vegas to watch my boy Colby Covington fight at UFC 247. Wish me luck. Good luck to you. I feel like I tried to get into UFC, and a couple of my buddies and I had like the UFC fighting game that first came out it was the Xbox 360, and we'd play that. And it would always end up with us just beating up on each other. Because like if you're getting beat up in a game and you're getting mad, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to get beat up in a game. I'm going to beat you up in real life. So it never really took off for me, but there was some UFC news yesterday. Didn't Cain Vasquez, I think is his name. He's like involved in a shooting that occurred in San Jose, California. Is that?
I don't know. My news cycle was dominated by, besides NFL, which dominates the news feed, MLB players being locked out by owners and the labor strife there, and then a $4 billion mega club going up for sale by a longtime owner because of Russia tensions in the Ukraine. I didn't see any UFC news.
Yeah, it was a weird thing. I think it was Cain Vasquez. I don't know the specifics, but either way, UFC news there, I guess. What have we learned today that we didn't know yesterday, football-wise, from US Dave? What did we learn today? We had some interviews from player prospects and just a little bit more trickles of information that are coming out from people that are at the Combine that I've been talking with, and I'm sure you have some people at the Combine that you've been talking with as well. I mean, the NFL Combine, people always, from the outside, when you first look at it, it's like, oh, of course, it's an NFL draft event. Nah, it's not. It's an NFL media, NFL personnel event overall, where this is where a lot of deals that are about to get done in free agency are being crafted. A lot of trades that are going to occur are getting crafted, and a lot of news. You want to be careful with
the Senior Bowl's a job fair.
Yes.
The Senior Bowl's career fair. And then the NFL Combine is there is a lot of scouting that goes on. Yeah. Not so much, where you'll watch the Senior Bowl, you'll watch the guys at the Senior Bowl. Hell, they're not even watching the games. They're not watching the stuff. It's a career fair for them. It's a networking opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, the medicals and the interviews are big, but the rest of it, you can watch the tape afterwards of the drills, and you can get the data. And if you have certain threshold cutoffs, then you can rule some guys out. But you don't have to be there to get that data. That's what Scott said as well, being at the Combine. But yeah, the big thing about the Combine is more about the news coming out. You got to be careful with the NFL Combine news, though, because who tells you stuff really matters. Are you hearing, oh, this player is going top 50? Is that coming from a team? That means one thing. Is that coming from an agent? That means something completely different. I remember talking
to which team, and are more than one team saying it?
Yes, exactly. I remember a few years ago, I was talking with an agent, and he's like, "Oh, this guy, what do you think about him?" I'm like, I have watched him a bit. I think probably end up day 3. He's like, "Oh no, he's gonna push to round 1. He might be the best, one of the better quarterbacks in the class." I don't want to say who, but I was like, "Oh, wow, okay." agent lying to me. You got to represent your guys. I get it, but yeah, that's the thing coming out here. Connor Klein coming. Good morning, guys. What do you think of Jerome Ford in the late rounds, along with Ed Ingram? Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford is the running back from Cincinnati. I believe, again, when you don't put the schools in position in, I'm going off the old noggin here, and there are a lot of names. So Jerome Ford, I believe, is the running back from Cincinnati, transferred from Alabama.
And
I like him a lot.
Ed Ingram was the guard at LSU,
yes,
who looked really good at the Senior Bowl.
Yes, Jerome Ford, though. First, I really like him.
Hold on. One moment. One moment. Hold on. Michael Renchio coming in with 10,000 stars again.
All right, guys, that's our show today. Thank you very much. God,
10,000 stars. Michael, just killing it for March. We're starting a new month, and it's the same great Michael Renchio who is helping us keep the lights on, keep the show going, keep the stream going, keep everything going. We love you, appreciate you. I hope you know that, and we can't say enough for you. So we're going to interrupt the show, brought to you by Michael Renchio. Now let's get back to our local programming. Ed Ingram, Jerome Ford.
And real quick shout out to Michael. I just saw that he tagged Mile High Huddle and Chad last night. He got his Steve Atwater number 27. And God bless you, Michael. You must be listening to the show with some of my opinions, at least, because everybody's like, oh, what jersey should I get? Get the Legends. Legends never die. If you can walk around with a Steve Atwater jersey, that's always going to be respected. You're walking around with a Jay Cutler jersey, you might get some looks. I do have a
discount rack.
Yeah,
I'm not messing with the guy wearing a Carl Mecklenburg jersey. I'm gonna give him a little extra space as we walk by, or a woman, even more important. You ever notice how Nick and I have never met face to face? What is your height and weight?
I am I'm 6'1", but 6.5, and I weigh about 180.
Okay, we're almost identical size. It's just I've got another 20 years on you, so that's the extra 15 pounds.
I was bigger before my wedding. I lost a lot of weight for my wedding.
6'1", 195, which is a decent size, not overly big. But do you ever notice, because I was speaking about, the women, do you ever notice the small people when you're walking down the side, the sidewalk? They're the ones least likely to give you some room as you're walking by. Like, wait a minute, why should I move? I'm going to run you over if I don't move. It's crazy to me.
Stand tall. It's a small dog personality sometimes.
Oh, I know. They call it little man's disease, little dog's disease for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. But Connor Klein, Jerome Ford, I like him a lot. He really impresses me at Cincinnati. He's actually a running back in this class who I believe has breakaway speed. That's a little bit of you don't have to have breakaway speed, but it's nice to have if you do have it. Creating explosive plays on the ground is really key. That's something that I would argue Javonte Williams doesn't really have. He's getting a lot of yards consistently, breaking tackles in the open field, but the breakaway speed, not really there. Jerome Ford does have that. So I'd be definitely, heck, starting at round 4, I think you're talking about him there. That'd be a fine investment for me. Ed Ingram, really good player. He impressed the heck out of me at the game. He really stuck out for me was the LSU Florida game this last year. His polls were awesome. I do believe, though, there is a incident with Ed Ingram in his past where he had sexual relations with a minor before he came it was like very early in his LSU career. So that's something to monitor for him as well. When you ever have something like that, it's like, scouting department's going to get their money because they have some digging to do.
Again, going back near and dear to our hearts with Broncos country, and here, Pepperell, Georgia, Marcus Dixon did time. Your new defensive line coach did time for that. Vanderbilt kid, 4.0 student. And, Daddy didn't like the fact that he was found with his – it's disgusting. Yeah. So, I'm not willing to judge anything on that. Had a colleague – I don't condone it, but I need to know I want to know all the information before I'm going to judge, as is in any case, for sure.
What are the facts? So we don't know, but that's still a tidbit of information.
It is. It's a question.
Yep, 100%. But he's really talented. I think if pay attention to him on big boards and whatnot, pre-draft and post-draft, he's been pretty consistently in the 50 to 80 range. I think I've been seeing him in big boards, maybe 60 to 100. If he completely drops out of those and without buzz coming from that as well, there's something that happened. There's more information that came out. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Tommy Simmer saying folding laundry and almost listening to the pod. Well, I hope you're listening now. Nick and Scott, what QBs interest you in watching at the combine today? All of them, honestly. But for me, I'm interested in some of the smaller school guys. I'm curious to see how Brock Purdy looks. Iowa State. He actually was a player who came in his freshman year, looked okay. I don't think he has the arm talent really, but he interests me. He's been a big leader for that Iowa State program, helped turn them around. Dustin Crum at Kent State interests me a good bit. He's a talented quarterback. For the Golden Flashes there. Cole Keeley was a Arkansas quarterback, and he transferred to Southeastern Louisiana State. He's kind of funny. If Elway was here, pencil him in. He's 6'7". He's an absolute tank, which is probably too big for the quarterback position. And of course, Caleb Ellaby interests me a lot as well. I want to see if that arm pops and looks equivalent to some of the upper tier arms in this class. And I'm just giving
you a party pooper. I don't really care about the quarterbacks throwing in their shorts and t-shirts, honestly. It doesn't do it for me. I'm more interested in like I said, I can scout this combine from a spreadsheet. I'm interested in the raw data. I'm interested in the measurements. I'm interested in the shuttle times, the L cones, the 40s, the measurements. That's what I'm interested in at the combine.
Yeah.
We call these things the underwear Olympics for a reason. 100%. It's hard enough to get a feel on a running back and a linebacker at the Senior Bowl when they're not allowed to hit, let alone out here doing this. So you can get a pretty good idea of the times. Now, again, I want to cross-reference. I know Micah Parsons can play football. I've seen him play football. He's really good. Now I've seen the times. Oh, my God, he's also an athletic freak. Mm-hmm. I want him top 5. That's what you're doing. You're not resetting your board on this, but you're maybe moving one guy above the other based on other aspects. This is what I call the enough factor.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have enough? Can you see enough? Okay. Bailey Zappi has enough arm. I've seen it. Now let's go, go check his tape again and see how he does under pressure and all that type of stuff. So I'll have it on, but I'm not going to be scrutinizing the quarterback throws in this for sure. And frankly, the wide receivers, and if they're not getting hit, I don't know anything about them. Yeah. So I'm interested in the measurements, in the times, all that stuff, much more than any of the drills.
See, I really like the drills, but it's more for the open field drills where you can, like, if you watch two cornerbacks,
see their hips turn.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. 100%. I'm also really interested in the hoop drill that was implemented in the combine 2 years ago, and you showed videos of that multiple times. That's a really good one for pass rushers. Just seeing their flexibility.
I can look at the L cone and I can tell you who can flip their hips.
I think that's changed a bit over the last few years. These guys are so regimented and trained that, like, Josie Jewell has like a 98th percentile 3-cone all time. It's like that kind of thing where it's like, because of the training and how specific it is, I think the ones that you can still get better, but I think the 40 time and the agility drills over the last 10 years, everybody's gotten in like insane numbers. I don't think they're historically relevant anymore as much. The jumps are, though. The vertical and the broad, they're not. You're not making people jump.
You don't
crazier.
Cheat the vertical. That's explosiveness. So 100%. Again, and I've said that about the L cone and the shuttle. The 40 time is probably at least. I always had a kid. He ran like a 4.48. I'm hand timing these guys, and I'll run them with the wind at their backs. I want them to feel good, but I know this.
Yeah.
But he ran like a 4.48, and he turns around and he says, he goes, "What do you think I can get that down to?" You know what I told him?
What?
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
I don't care. You're fast. You ran a 4.48.
Yep.
You're on my radar now.
Yeah.
I don't care what you can get that down to. You're fast.
Yeah, and
now let's see what you can do when it counts.
100%. And I think a lot of people, I've seen people sharing like the fastest 40 times all time at the combine, which is fun. No doubt about it. It's fun. But the thing about these numbers is it's not so much, who's the fastest. It's and then that's your board. It's you have thresholds that are bottom line. And if you don't reach those, then you're not being considered. If you're a cornerback and you're running a 4.6, bye. I mean, you're not going to make it in the league, period. If you're a offensive tackle, you have 32-inch arm length, probably not going to have to kick in. So it's not as much as like
factor.
Yes, exactly. It's those thresholds. People think, oh, the fastest player is the best. No, if they reach this, then they're good enough. Then we can talk about the tape. The other thing too is you shouldn't grade people twice. Like Tariq Woolen's supposed to run a sub 4.340. You don't move him up after he runs that, right? If he comes out there and runs a 4.6, now we have questions. But you don't want to grade guys twice for being fast. We got Wyatt Horning saying, "Come on, Nick, you want Spencer Petras at quarterback?" LOL. Definitely in the LOL on this, Scott. I don't know if you had the. That's probably one reason last year I didn't get so upset about the Broncos quarterback plays, because the Hawkeyes quarterback play was even less. But that's unfortunate. Michael Ronquillo, go ahead.
Michael coming in with some stars, and into this is I'm going to watch Malik Willis at the NFL Combine, and for a lot of folks, this is really their first chance that they're going to get to watch these guys throw. So absolutely, get a good idea. Now, people in a pod like this, you've probably watched highlights, you've probably Googled stuff, but for the mainstream, if they flip this on, it might be the first time they've ever seen Malik Willis throw. And then it's a great time to get in and watch him. Oh, yeah, that kid's got some pop to his arm. I already know that. We already know that. He's got a strong arm. So I'm not going to learn anything at the NFL Combine watching him throw drills that I don't already know. Yeah. There's pretty much nothing he can do that I can say, oh, yeah, that's new for the quarterbacks. The other positions, absolutely. I haven't watched Chad Muma beyond the Senior Bowl. I don't know what he can do. I don't know how he moves. But the quarterbacks are so overanalyzed that, I said, not to be a Debbie Downer on this, but I won't pay that much attention to them throwing. I've seen them throw.
I'll pay attention just because we're good for one wide receiver dome shot every combine, and that's always, the highlights of those are always fun. Peter Middleton coming in saying, which of the 21 class from the third round on will become the best draft choice? I think Miners and Stearns have the easiest road to success. I think you're definitely possible with that, but I mean, you have to throw in Baron Browning. He is an absolute freak. He impressed the heck out of me in his coverage ability. I'm really curious to see if they utilize him more as a sub-package edge rusher as well, which he's shown at Ohio State. So out of these guys right now, I think I'd probably rank them Browning, Miners, Stearns. All three, though, very good picks. Jonathan Cooper deserves a shout out. I think.
You just named everybody, dude. Come on.
I'm okay. I'll let you have it. I have a retort for Jonathan Cooper, and there's a reason I didn't name
him. Quinn Miners, I think, probably has the best chance to be, as a guard with his skill set. I think he's probably going to have the longest, most successful career when you look back after 10 years. Otherwise, the biggest surprise out of that is if you get a serviceable edge out of your 7th round pick at Jonathan Cooper.
Yeah.
Watch that one fly. That was a home run. Yeah. So again, there's a reason why this was the top rated draft class by their peers.
Yep.
And because you got hits just about everywhere. And frankly, with one of your 7th round picks, Kerry Vincent Jr., you upgraded.
Yeah.
You traded him for a 6th.
In a draft class.
I got another pick out of it. I got another pick. I got a better pick out of it. That was a win.
Yeah.
Peter, appreciate the stars, my friend.
Thanks, Peter. Yeah, especially in this class because 2021 was a historically small draft class. This year's going to be, while the top of the class isn't as good, I think you're going to have more talent in the 5th, 6th, 7th rounds. So that's great. The thing about Jonathan Cooper for me is he doesn't have much length. He's not an incredible athlete for the position. He's a little older for the position, and he's already so good with his hands. So that to me means he probably doesn't have as far to go in comparison to like somebody else who like Baron Browning's just scratching the surface literally with his ability. Quinn Miners just scratching the surface. But still, you're 100% correct in terms of return per draft pick spent to get an edge rusher who can give you anything in the 7th round is incredible. And I know I'm very tough on Malik Reed in here because he's not really getting it done in the run game, not a dynamic pass rusher, but he was an undrafted free agent. Like you're getting what you pay for. And the fact you got anything is valuable.
And Nick, frankly, there's a bias involved there when you start. Malik Reed's been fine. He's been fine, especially for where he was taken.
Yeah.
But the bias comes on our end when people start saying Malik Reed, Malik Reed, Malik Reed, Malik Reed. And you're like, pump the brakes just a little bit. Pump him. He's been okay. So that's where our bias starts kicking in a little bit is, when the hype around the guy doesn't match up, or worse, if you hype a guy and he doesn't match up, you're going to kill him. That happens all the time. The minute one of these guys makes you look like an idiot, watch analysts, watch them. When they miss on a guy, they're ruthless on that guy. And it's not because they don't like him. It's because they really liked him. Yeah. And they made him look stupid. Those are the guys that end up getting slaughtered.
Josh Rosen, for me, speaking personally.
Those are the ones that media guys are super tough on, are the ones they missed on because they looked bad. They made them look bad.
100%. Keep showing Rob. I want to say hi to Rob. I don't recognize this name. Rob Bucksbum. Good morning, Nick and Scott. Top of the morning to you. Maybe over in there in Ireland. Hope you're doing well. Albert Knopper's in the house. Good morning, Jet. Carl's still thinking my hat is ridiculous. Sorry, no. Peter was in the house. It's great to see. We got Daniel J. Hyatt saying, hi, guys, from Fort Myers, Florida. Beautiful place. Benjamin Flores in the house. I recognize that name. How you doing, Ben? What's up, gangstas?
Also, I'm of course, about as ungangsta as anybody.
Scott, you
well, it just depends. I mean, if you think old school Irish mafia, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
for sure.
Gangsta.
I'm one of the great white middle class gangsters from Eastern Iowa. That's a classic. It's cliche for a reason. Tim Durr, morning guys, good to see you. Facebook user, I'm curious if this is Trevor coming in here because he's had issues with that. Tommy Simmers in the house, day 8. Great to see you. Juan Espinoza, good morning, gentlemen. Have an awesome Thursday. You have an awesome day, Juan. Hope you're doing well. We got Jake Gerard coming in here. I love you in those movies. First 2 days, we have 5 picks. It's like last year. General Payton will find some stars.
And this draft's deeper.
Yes, it is.
I think this draft's deeper in the second round. I really do. For all the people that want to say this draft isn't very good, baloney. This draft is deeper. From 50 to 100, it's better. It's a lot better.
I agree. It's different. It's better. It's a quantity over quality draft. You're going to get a lot of NFL contributors for a long time.
You got Quinn Miners at 98. You got Baron Browning at 105. You got Caden Stearns at 152. And this is a deeper draft in that area.
That being said, I would not pick the Broncos out as that would be to the contrary, because the Broncos are an anomaly to how good they did.
What I was going to say, I was going to take the other end of that. Is that I would be shocked, even though this draft is deeper, if you had hits like that all 3 at those spots, because it's just statistically really, really hard.
Improbable. Yep. I want to get into this because the Broncos did get voted as the best 2021 draft class, but I want to pump the brakes a bit. God, I'm such a Debbie Downer and everything, but we'll get into it. Ken Booker, good morning, fellas. What kind of contract does Teddy end up getting if he joins another team? I'm saying $25 an hour. The going rate for a starting quarterback in the NFL is 25 baseline. Like I would say that's pretty much just baseline now. So I'm guessing Teddy's probably going to get
the baseline. I thought you said his baseline. No, Teddy Bridgewater will be $6 to $7 million.
Oh man,
I've said it for 6 months. I'm not changing now. He was a $6 million quarterback for 3 years before he had a 5-0 run with the New Orleans Saints, and the Panthers lost their freaking minds.
Scott, I know we're not much of a betting man, but just for the sake of the show, $20. Let's set the line at 10 million.
I'll set the over/under at 10. He ain't getting 10.
Okay, I think he will. I think that especially with all the news coming out of the combine that none of these quarterbacks, other than Jimmy Garoppolo, are going to get moved. I think somebody's going to pay Teddy Bridgewater, especially also because this draft class, we talked about it before the show. There's only 2 guys in this class that probably should see the field.
He's Greg Rosenthal's number 2 free agent quarterback.
Somebody's going to pay him. I think I would rather pay him a lot up front and have the ability to get out of it versus a less per year but stuck with him for 5 years kind of situation. But we'll see.
I'm not betting $20 on it though. I'm not betting money. We'll bet something fun.
Okay, well,
we'll figure it out.
For sure.
Me saying that
I need you to sing the Iowa fight song.
These guys, and I constantly for 30 years underestimate the stupidity around people and quarterbacks.
Desperation, baby. It's desperation. If you don't have one,
it's just bleep. Like, good Lord, send me 1% of that. What's 1% of 10 million? $100,000. I'll save you $9.9 million by not making a mistake like that, dumping $10 million into a guy that's meh. You can get meh for a lot cheaper than $10 million.
I agree with you. I think there's never been more serviceable quarterbacks in the NFL. So that's one reason I'd rather pay less. We want to say hello to Sean Burns there, who we just flashed. Also, CC's in the house. Good to see you. Clee's in the house. Awesome to see you. John Clay Evington, $10 with the beautiful C stack in his picture there. Good morning, gents. My favorite team. Iowa Hawkeyes? No, I'm just kidding. Thank you so much. John, that's really nice of you to say. We really appreciate that. If you think so, if any of you guys agree with that, make sure you head over to iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating and say, love the morning crew, Broncos for breakfast. That would be very helpful and mean a lot. John goes on, I like the combine because it's an important date to get past in order to bring on the draft. Like a Wednesday of any given week, we are heading downhill now. It's the kickoff for the offseason. Right around the corner, I think even 2 weeks from today, is it we'll be in the draft, or excuse me, the legal tampering period in 10 days. And then 12 days, we will be in the opening of free agency. A lot of free agency buzz for the Broncos. I got some tidbits of information we can get into as well. But thank you so much for your support, John. $10. I mean, that goes a long way. We really do appreciate that. So thank you so much for supporting us in the morning show.
I can promise you it's going to fly by. I'm 49 this year. This year is going to fly.
Ugh.
I'm going to blink twice and I'm going to be 50. Ugh.
Yeah, that's very true. DeAndre Weatherspoon, good to see you, DeAndre. I'm 30, but I felt like I turned 30 the moment the sick bug
30s
happened.
are the best, though. 30s are the best. Their 30s are great. I mean, not that 40s. My 40s, I've been raising my kids. They've been a blast too. But there's no masking 50. 50 doesn't sound like the new anything. 50 sounds like OG.
Yeah, 100%. Colin Wood, good morning to you, Colin. I hope you're doing well. Said, how about the possibility of Teddy coming back here? And the story says the Packers have been no trades offers for Rodgers. Well, you can't get any trade offers if you're not picking up the phone. That's a key on that. And also Teddy coming back. He's one of the number of quarterbacks that are milk toast that you could bring in that bring you some level of competency. It's really, you can probably tell by my tone how unenthusiastic I am about it. I understand it. But I am a hater of all top 10 quarterbacks, and Teddy Bridgewater is not a top 10 quarterback. And I don't think he has the ability to ever be that. I'd rather them swing for the fences on a massive boom or bust player like Trubisky or Winston than bring back Teddy Bridgewater. Because it's either going to be great or it's going to be bad, and you're putting yourself up higher in the draft next year. But I know that, I don't know if you picked up on the Broncos side interview session. It was Jeff Legwold for ESPN, he was a former president of the Pro Football Writers of America. He's the one who actually in the Broncos mock offseason paid Teddy Bridgewater to come back to Denver on a 2-year deal. And then Legwold asked George Payton on the side interview about the quarterbacks. He's like, oh, there's a few veterans here, but Teddy's definitely one of them. You know how much I like him, Jeff. And everybody was like, oh, Teddy's Fangio's guys. Teddy's all about Fangio. It's like, I think Teddy was George's guy. George was a part of the front office that drafted Teddy, and then he went out there and got him from Carolina. George Payton is a big fan of Teddy Bridgewater, the person. So I wouldn't be shocked. It's just so milquetoast. It's like trying to bunt for a hit in a home run derby. Ugh, what are you doing?
No, it really is. It's like, okay, you did that. You don't need to do it again. Yeah. Okay, you're going to be a right around 500 team, eking towards the playoffs again. Just again, I'd rather you go with a year of Drew Lock and boom or bust. Either he becomes the god that some people around Broncos country think he should be or should have been, or you're getting a quarterback in 2023 in the draft because you're going high enough. I want to hit the second part of that question though. So let's go back there because you don't even have to show it. I remember what it was. Colin Wood says, "What about Gutenkust or whatever his name is, the general manager of the Packers, saying he hasn't received any trade offers for Aaron Rodgers." All right, that's the key word right there. Trade offers. Now, in college football recruiting or in recruiting, you're not allowed to offer somebody for a certain date, like their senior year or something. But yet everybody from 8th grade on has all these offers. Why is that? Because Nick, I've seen you play tight end. I know you're just a freshman. But when the time comes, you've got an offer waiting for you at Iowa with the Iowa Hawkeyes. Now, I didn't just offer him a scholarship. I didn't. But he's got one, and he knows he's got one. And he's going to tell the media that, hey, I got an offer. So, trade offer. I'm calling up Gutenkust, say, hey, if this guy becomes available, what's it going to take? First and second? 2 firsts, a second? All right, I think we can probably get that done. He didn't just get an offer. He didn't just get a trade offer for him. They're testing the waters. They're dipping their toe in the waters. So he can be saying something that is still technically true, that they haven't gotten any trade offers, but there's 10 teams lining up at the door waiting for it. And he knows that. So it can be a true statement and still be intellectually dishonest at the same time.
Yeah. Or it could just be a straight up lie. What
is he? Could be a straight up lie. But I'm not going to call him a liar. I don't know that he's lying. I'm not going to call him a liar. I'm just going to say what he could say. All right, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. That could be true, but you're full of beans.
Yeah. If lying wasn't evolutionarily beneficial, we wouldn't do it. There's something to it. I don't know if, again, I'm making a reference to something you've probably never done, Scott, but Catan, there's like resources that you pick up on the board, and everybody's, sometimes you have the one resource that everybody wants, and people are trying to make trades saying, hey, does anybody have any? Or I'm going to lie and say no, because if I say that I have it, people are going to try to steal it from me. So I'm not going to let you know that I have it. I'm not going to show my cards. Speaking of showing cards, though, Jacob Foster coming in with the support. Jacob, I always say it. If you have any questions for us besides the supers,
mug. I love the coffee mug.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jacob. We appreciate the heck out of you. Hope you're doing well. Always love it too. You guys, I know it's your Facebook profiles, it's your personal life, but I always love the pictures of people's families and kids, and I can see there a kid right in your shoulders on that picture. It's awesome to see.
That's why I went to Instagram. I left Facebook during the 2016 presidential cycle, and I know it's still Facebook, but it's like, I care about seeing you and your kids and your family and what's up. Instagram is much more fun for that.
Yep, absolutely. Robert Addison, also really like it when you have you guys' own businesses and logos there we can give a shout out to. It looks like he's got something there for that. Good morning, guys. I say let's roll with Drew Lock and pick up some needs in the draft. Strong right tackle and linebackers. I love you guys. We love you too, Robert. And MHH. No, we just us. Just us. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. For the Broncos, I will say that the theme coming out of the draft or the combine so far for the Broncos, they have mentioned needing a tackle, but outside of quarterback, it's pass rush, pass rush, pass rush. That means free agency. The Broncos are going to go after a pass rusher. Free agency. The Broncos might go after 2 pass rushers. Guess what? In the first round of the draft, pass rusher. Day 2, pass. Seriously, like it's just everybody's talking about it. I'm really happy about that because heading into the offseason, I was like, guys, I know the pass rush was bad last year, but like, look at this. Like, it's not just bad. It was horrifically terrible, the Broncos pass rush last season. Some of that scheme, some of that's injuries. Scott, you know a thing or two about that as well. But it was,
and it was still twice as good as the one I watched all year.
Some of that might be because the Broncos have more depth in the back 7 in coverage. I digress. But alas, Broncos need pass rush. They know that. They've been linked to a lot of free agents as well, and they're being linked to a lot of edge rushers in the first round and the second round of the draft. So I think that's definitely one you need to keep up in your mind as well. And as far as linebackers, Scott, I don't know how much you're into statistical analysis and you know what like R values are or whatnot. But I went back to it. There's a 2020 study from Pro Football Focus that correlated draft position with hit success, and they got guys in the 65th percentile, which is a starter, the 90th percentile, which is elite, and the worst position as far as the NFL being able to evaluate the haves from the have-nots in the draft, the off-ball linebacker. The line is just straight across, and there's almost no difference between the hit rate for a linebacker in the first round compared to a hit rate in the linebacker in the second round compared to the hit rate on the linebacker in the third round. It's not because linebackers aren't valuable. It's just because in college, they're not put in a situation enough where you can evaluate the isolated reps, if that makes sense. They're not playing in space more than 10 times a year. And like that's very small 10 reps. You're probably going against some garbage tight end or a running back and a quarterback who can't hit you. Where edge rusher, you have thousands of reps that you can analyze. Cornerback against wide receiver, thousands of reps. NFL does not do a good job of separating the linebackers. So I agree with you. It'd be good to get a linebacker. I would be pretty strongly against it in the first round, given the data that we have on the position.
To finish off with Robert's comment saying, I say let's just roll with Drew. To me, that's conceding. That's giving up. Right now, I think you can all basically agree. Worst case scenario is Drew Lock as a starter. That's the worst case. He's the guy that you have under contract right now. Mm-hmm. So I say, let's try and upgrade the room. Let's go after these guys. Let's kick the tires on here. Let's make Aaron Rodgers tell us no. Let's make Russell Wilson tell us no. Let's do our due diligence on these quarterbacks in the draft and see who's there. Let's see who might be available that we're not even talking about that are out there. And then if all else fails and I go down here and I got Drew Lock under contract, so be it. But I'm not going to give up before the draft even starts, before free agency even starts, before the trade deadlines are even a thing and say, Drew's my guy. He hadn't shown enough of it. He's, at best, he's been ranked 32nd in the league. I'm not just handing him the keys without trying to do better.
Yep. Absolutely. We got Wombat coming in here saying, very cute animal. Shout out to Wombats everywhere. The quarterback in this draft is poor, but the rest is very good. And Twitter and stuff like this doesn't really lend itself to nuance. Probably one of the reasons that I really love the live stream format, because you have so much freedom to explain things. The quarterback is poor in a sense that you don't have guys who are no doubt consensus top 10 draft pick, any draft class. I will say, though, that as far as the depth of guys who will get a chance to start in the league and being top 50 caliber quarterbacks, I think you got 6 guys in this class who can make an argument for that. The Andy Dalton-esque level quarterbacks, which is fine. It's a depth class at quarterback, not a quality class, but there's, I would say, 5-6 guys who make that a good argument. The other position here that I would say is poor, and it's been poor for the last few seasons, and I'm curious if we are approaching an issue at this position, is the interior defensive line, at least at the top. I think there are some names.
I was like, man, I love the depth on the interior defensive line, especially compared to last year where there was one.
There was zero.
Well, Christian Barmore was, he was okay.
Oh, he was okay. He was incredible, but he didn't go in the first round.
No, but I think he could have been. He could have been a first round guy. So compared to that, I see several guys I like, like 5 times as many. There might be, and I'm not talking first round. I'm talking, but guys I like that can come in and play and make an impact. There weren't even guys last year other than Barmore where you can say, all right, this guy's going to come in and help me. I can name several that I could plug into the Denver Broncos at nose guard right now. I can think off the top of my head. If you went Jordan Davis, Travis Jones, John Ridgeway, they'd be upgrades over what you got.
There's also the nose tackle from LSU who did pretty well at the Senior Bowl as well. Neal Jr., I believe his name.
He was smallish, though, I thought. I've got the roster here in front of me. His name was Garrett Farrell. No. That's defensive line. That must be wrong because it says 238. So that must have been a typo. So if he was 338, 6'3.5", 338, 6'6.5" wingspan. So
there was a nose tackle from LSU who I saw some reps on the size. I'm like, okay, that's somebody to put in your pocket.
Yeah, that's him, Neil Farrell. And I guess we have to look into a little more. He's got like a really good story behind him as well. But again, there's 4, just without even really looking any deeper. That was 4 guys compared to last year. It was like Barmore.
Yep. I don't disagree with you. I do think though, overall, it's still a somewhat down season. And Neil Farrell Jr., 6'3", 340 pounds.
Yeah.
338 verified. So 6'3.5". So he's a decent boy.
They had a typo on their original sheet for the Senior Bowl. I need to fix that on mine.
But other than that, I agree with you. I do like this class on the whole. I think that I don't think running back is that good. But I don't want to waste too much time talking running back on here. Michael's saying he's going to turn 40 years old this October. 40 years young, Michael. You're young at heart. We appreciate you. We got Victor Rios. Lord no lock. Not excuse will be, he's in next year's excuse will be he's in a new system. Shake my head.
But he's got 1 year on his contract. Yeah. So there won't be any more excuses. He was ruined beyond repair, and if only this had happened, he would have been great. And it's all these ifs, ands, and buts around Drew Lock of, again, for like you're saying, all the excuses. They might be valid, but enough. This, like I've said before on this is it. You got your quarterback. Yep. If he doesn't shine this year, if he's not the guy this year, if he doesn't get a chance this year, and pardon me, I have a sore throat a little bit, so I'm sucking on a lozenge here. This discussion is over. It's done.
Yeah.
Except it'll then be he was damaged beyond repair by Fangio.
I mean, you can argue that, but like the counter argument to all of this to me is Justin Herbert, who came in, obviously there's a reason that he went 7th overall compared to Drew Lock 42, but like Justin Herbert came in behind one of the worst offensive lines in the last decade. And that's not hyperbole. They were ranked 32nd by Pro Football Focus and ESPN pass block win rate, both 32nd last year. They're also 31st in run blocking win rate. They were horrible.
And it also means every single team, if you go in the second round, it means every single team in the league passed on you.
Yeah.
That's why second round guys don't get the chance, because they didn't have the belief in them to begin with.
Yep.
And he's had, like you said, Nick, he's had twice as many starts. He's had as many starts as everybody but one person that was taken second round or later.
Since 2014. Yep. Which is a high rate. And that's probably speaks more to the Broncos' inability to find viable competition for him. It's also just giving him a clean runway in 2020, which, given what he showed in 2019, honest to God, I don't have an issue with that. Hindsight, yes, trade up for Justin Herbert, no dip. But you can make all the excuses in the world for him in 2020, but we're chasing greatness at the quarterback position, right? That's the one position where just being good isn't good enough, especially in the AFC West. So we'll see what happens with Drew. I'm pulling for him because by all accounts, he is a great kid. And we got Ethan coming in the morning, as Nick would say, smacking my head. That's what Scott would say.
Me.
That was
smack my head.
Absolutely.
Like I said, that one was an honest slip of the tongue. I do know what that one says. When I screw up, I'll admit it. No problem with that.
Lots of love.
I mean, I screwed up. When I don't know, when out of ignorance, if I'm just ignorant, I'll tell you, hey, I don't know. Teach me. Ignorance isn't necessarily a bad thing. Just mean, people use ignorance like, oh, he's ignorant. Well, yeah, I don't know everything. That means I don't know. Teach me. I'm willing to learn. Willful ignorance on their hand, that's a different story. What the hell's off-ball linebacker, Nick?
Linebackers who are not edge rushers.
You mean it's a guy that's behind the line that makes tackles? You mean like a linebacker? Oh, I guess we have to come up with a new name for that other than linebacker now.
Well, then we need to get rid of 3-4 edge rusher. That's the big one. And Colin saying,
he's an outside linebacker in a 3-4.
Yeah, and Colin says, would you have given up on Tannehill too? No, but I would have done what the Titans did, where I had the number 2 overall pick and Tannehill, and then let the best guy win. And this is the argument. I'm not giving up on Drew Lock if I bring in Jameis Winston or Marcus Mariota or Mitchell Trubisky, etc. I'm letting them compete. I'm not giving up on him, but I'm not clearing the path for him. And that's the real argument here.
Not just starting now saying let's roll with Tannehill.
Yes.
Let's make him work for it. If he's a better guy, great. But again, like I said on the comment from, I think it was Robert. So I'm not willing to just concede right now. There's too many variables to say, let's just roll with Drew. No. Now, it may end up that's what you have to do, and that's what you're going to do. And that's okay.
Or he's great in the offseason. He takes a big step.
Yeah, I'm not giving up now. I'm not going to just concede that job to him now. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. So, man, pulling for him, that would be great. I am a scientist at my heart. Everything is the null hypothesis. I'm a skeptic until proven otherwise. So have to see it. But that would be great.
And Nick, the flip side of that, let's just bring back Teddy and give him the job. No, I don't want to do that either. That's giving up.
Yep.
That's the easy route. No. Work your ass off to get better as a general manager. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the players. I'm talking about George Payton. You work your ass off to improve the position. That's your job. My job as a general manager is to replace you every single freaking year. It's your job to make sure I can't.
You sound like a recruiter on that one. Jacob Foster coming in with the stars again. Thank you for the support. Also, Victor Rios, $4.99 with the support. Thank you so much, Victor. Good to see you. Thanks for your comments earlier as well. Getting back into the theme of the show, the title of the show, the Broncos were voted by all the front offices across the league as having the best draft class in 2021. That's also the Pro Football Writers of America, I believe, also had a hand in that. But this is more of a NFL own award. It's the 5th time this award has been handed out. The teams that have won it in the past, the Saints won it in 2017 for their absolutely phenomenal 2017 draft class, where they got Marshawn Lattimore, Ryan Ramczyk, the center or the nose tackle whose name I can't pronounce, who's been one of the best run stuffing defensive tackles in football. And I think they might have even gotten Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in that draft class as well. So he was incredible. The Colts won it for their 2018 draft class. That was the Darius Leonard draft, I believe. 49ers in 2019 and Buccaneers in 2020. I mean, the fact that they went out there and got Tristan Wirfs and the Winfield Jr. Hey, go Big
White
Ten.
In that one?
No, that was the year. It was the Tristan Wirfs draft. The fact that they went out there and got, 2 Big Ten West guys. How about that? To Minnesota and Iowa.
Trey Hendrickson was in that class too for the Saints.
Oh my God,
for the Saints.
That Saints draft class was absolutely insane.
Third round pick.
Yeah, he was. I loved him at the Shrine Bowl. He was dominating. FIU, I believe, not Florida Atlantic, FIU. But anyway, big thing I wanted to get to here is, yes, great job, George Payton. You nailed that first draft class. More bites at the apple. It's not just more bites at the apple, though. It's picks in the top 100 and the maneuverability to go up and get Javonte Williams. I mean, he's talked about getting the extra draft capital, not only to have more swings, but to have the ability to be flexible in the draft. However, Broncos country, this is the high bar. There is so much variance, volatility, randomness, chaos, entropy, whatever you want to use in assessing the draft class and draft picks in general, that to expect the Broncos to stay here is unrealistic. Enjoy being number 1 right now. And if the Broncos can continuously draft in the top 15, that is an edge that you cannot overstate. It's not number one, but if they can continuously be average or better, you're going to be able to be a very good team, have depth, be really healthy in the salary cap wise, because you can be playing young guys for pennies on the dollar compared to the veterans. But historically, if anybody's banking, oh, this is the new norm under George Payton, we're going to be the best drafting team every single year, hold your horses. These other guys are good at their jobs. You're depending on 31 other teams, the board falling a certain way, and things change in your front office as well. So it's great, but don't depend on it.
So 5 picks in the top 100. I think this is a draft where you can get 5 good players in the top 100. I think there's enough in there that you can do that. Now, where it becomes a little bit different is, am I going to get a serviceable backup starter in the 7th round? Good luck. That's going to be tough. But yeah, the draft board is set up, and you've done your work to give yourself some more picks. 2nd rounder for the Rams, 3rd rounder for the Rams, that you could still end up with 3. This is a good draft for the Denver Broncos, but yeah, you're not going to hit on 7 out of 8 guys. How many picks do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 11 guys, package some of this together and move back up. But yeah, don't expect to be the best drafting class every single year. It's like, oh, well, why would we give away a 7th rounder? We can get another starter. Yeah. Statistics only are on your side on that one. So
yeah,
again, Nick and I are both overly realistic with this. We don't want to necessarily play Debbie Downer and say, congratulations, that was an awesome draft, but my goodness, you set the bar high. We're just going to try and bring realistic expectations back down to the norm here a little bit.
Yeah. Absolutely. The other thing, let's get to Slim Show real quick here. Good morning, Nick and Scott. Listening to you guys on my drive down to Eugene, Oregon. That means you're close to me, Slim Slow, up here in the Pacific Northwest. It's looks like it's going to be a cloudy day, but I think we're going to have good weather this weekend. I hope you guys didn't get washed out like we did up here in Seattle with our flooding due to torrential rainfall. But good morning, Nick and Scott. Let me see. Thanks for the content and making this drive a whole lot better. Slim, thank you for the shout out. That's really nice.
Be safe while you're driving, please.
I was going to say that as well. He's doing the text to talk. It's a little safer.
Or he's got a co-pilot.
Exactly.
Got a navigator too. So be careful, Slim. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Oh, you can click that one. There you go. Broncos trading back. Oh, Dave Cromwell. Dave, hope you're doing well. David, always active and engaging with me on Twitter. David, make sure you DM me before you think he was getting at me yesterday. Are you saying taking a quarterback day 2 this year means the Broncos won't take one day 1 next year? I'm saying the exact opposite, Dave. I'm even saying if the Broncos trading up back into the 1st round, they should be looking again in 2023 unless that quarterback has a Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott rookie season, which that's unrealistic, Nick. It's unrealistic to expect your day 2 drafted quarterback to be a franchise quarterback. So I'm stacking the odds here. Broncos trading back into the late 1st for a non-quarterback is another legit possibility we have to consider these next 2 months. I agree with you. It depends on the cost. A lot of times trading back up into the 1st round will cost you a future 1st round pick. And until the Broncos have a known quantity at the quarterback position, I think that is a dangerous thing to do. But if you can, let's say, package pick 40 and pick 64 to go up to pick 28, okay, that's cool. Get 2 guys with 5th-year option. Maybe you get up there and get yourself a Bernard Ryman. Maybe you get up there and get yourself one of the edge rushers. Like maybe you go up there and get a quarterback who's falling, a Desmond Ridder, a Matt Corral, a Sam Howell. That's definitely possible. He said non-quarterback, I guess edge and maybe even Jordan Davis. He falls down there if you're looking for a true nose plug who could turn around your run defense. I mean, Broncos were 3rd to last year in run stuffs in the entire NFL. That's one of the reasons their pass rush was so bad. It's hard to pass rush when it's 3rd and 2 constantly, and that's a team can run out of that.
Yeah, we talk about all the time. And David, thanks for the stars.
Yeah, thanks, David.
I mean the super. Either way, thank you for the support.
Yes.
I was the old Ernest and Gallo commercials or the wine coolers. We thank you for your support. We talk about all the time about trying to get best player available, and how I say the best draft is the best available player that also fits a need. Well, your board doesn't always fit like that. So yeah, absolutely. We need a right tackle for the Denver Broncos. If there's a guy there sitting at 28 and you're sitting there looking, all right, I got 40, 64, and 75. I'm on the phone. For that 10 to 15 minutes. So they cut it down to 10 minutes now.
Yeah.
For the picks, for the 10 minutes saying, all right, we'll give you a 40 and a 64 for 28. That's a very good possibility because we have a need and he's the best player right now and he ain't going to make it to us. So if I can fill my need with the best available player, that's how you get the best drafts. So yeah, that's an absolute possibility. I think of it more in the lines of how do I make my team the best long term? And for me, that's with the most players in this draft, for 40, 64, 75. I'd rather have those 3 players long term. But we're talking about next year too, and next year you need a right tackle. You do.
Yep. Absolutely. And somebody asked in here about the Broncos' ideal starting offensive line for next season. I can't find which one it is. I see Colin answering this one.
It was Michael Kerr.
Michael, there. Thank you, Michael, so much. Who's the ideal starting offensive line next year? Ideally, Evan Neal falls to 9 and you take him and plug him in at 9, or Ike Ekwonu, but that's not going to happen. Did you see Evan Neal at the podium today? Have you seen the picture of him?
Mm-mm.
The fact that man is 330 pounds is unbelievable because he is, and I know teams are even going more and more to the body fat percentage when assessing these players because of injury risk. But he is the most slender, fit looking 330 pound person I've ever seen in my entire life. I was like, that's not Evan Neal.
Alabama recruits the exceptions to the rule. That's what they do. It's like, oh, you can't get a 260-pound inside linebacker. Oh, unless he's that guy. And Alabama just got him. I watched them play a 3-4 with a 350-pound end. It was a kid that I watched in the World Bowl. He was from Australia, I think. I can't remember his name, but he's playing end in a 3-4. He's 350 pounds. Donta Hightower, I think, was who I was talking about. I'm like, oh yeah, we put him at scout as a defensive end. He's 260 pounds in high school. He ain't gonna play linebacker. Oh yeah, he is. He's the exception. He's the exception to the rule. So
that man is 337 pounds. How?
Yeah, he looks.
I would have guessed like 250.
With that, I mean, if you were to tell me that was a running back, I would have believed you.
He looks like the offensive lineman, like Orlando Franklin came into the league, 6'5", 6'6", 330 pounds, 340 pounds. That's what Orlando Franklin looks like today after he lost all the weight.
Or he looks like an actor who they got to come play an offensive lineman, but wasn't quite big enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's stupid. It's crazy. Just to shout it out there. As far as for me, ideal starting offensive line next year, I don't think that the Broncos are going to be able to get a right tackle at 9 that is day one ready. I don't think, based on what I've watched from Trevor Penning, his hands and his base, he plays way too high right now. And I think he's going to get murdered early on by hand technicians in the league, especially in the AFC West. Joey Bosa would make him... Trevor Penning would result in like sumo wrestling him or fighting him because he'd get so frustrated and angry and just result to fighting, which, some people might like that. I'd rather you just win your matchup personally. But for me, I think name to keep an eye on at right tackle. Broncos have been interested in Bobby Massey. His wife and him constantly tweet out about how much they love Colorado. He's getting to be that age where he might take less to stay home. I think they just had their first or second child as well.
My kids are starting to get into school, and I don't want to move them around.
100%. So he's one that I think you might be able to get on a discount, so he doesn't have to uproot his family again because he knows that he's probably got...
Hell, he wasn't that expensive to begin with.
He wasn't that expensive, and he outperformed his contract without a doubt. He was competent there. He's not a dynamic player, but like I think we talked about it on Tuesday's show. I stacked up the right tackles that played in the championship games this last year. A lot of people will be like, oh, let's replicate the Super Bowl champion. That's more of a media-driven thing. NFL teams, from what I've spoken to, they will look at how the teams that made it to the championship games are crafted because you know that beyond that, if you got that far, odds are the best teams are there. Getting to the Super Bowl, you're talking about 2 more wins. That can be pretty volatile. Like where the Bengals the best team in football, or the Rams, they're the 4th seed. So looking at the AFC Championship and the NFC Championship, how those teams are built is better for roster building perspective. There was only one player out of the 4 right tackles that started that wasn't a undrafted free agent or a 7th round pick, in Rob Havenstein. You don't need to have premium resources or a premium pick at the right tackle to be good enough for the offensive line.
Sounds like an inverse relationship because I've been watching a team that has a first rounder at right tackle and he's god awful. So it's that small sample size thing. Maybe I need to go look at Walmart and the guy's stocking shelves for my right tackle. He couldn't have been any worse than Caleb McGarry this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a point. And again, it's not the rule. It means I'm not saying it's not valuable, but I'm saying that you shouldn't let, unlike the quarterback position, Good is the enemy of great, right? At quarterback, that's not true. You need to chase perfection. You need to chase greatness. At right tackle, though, good is good enough.
And Nick, if they were better, they'd be left tackles.
Yeah.
I
True.
mean, that's just
Unless your name's
talk
Tristan
about,
Wirfs.
can we draft a right tackle at 9? Well, you're not really looking to draft a right tackle at 9. You're looking to draft a future left tackle, but can you play him at right tackle in the time being? That'd be fine. That'd be great. But you're not looking to draft a right tackle at 9. You're looking to draft a left tackle at 9 that you can play at right tackle for the time being.
I will say, though, that over the last decade, the difference in value, in my opinion, you might disagree with me on this, the difference in value of the left tackle and right tackle has changed. The under center game is not as highly used, and so the blinds, oh my... This is the biggest super chat I've ever seen in my life, and we didn't cut out, guys. I'm just processing, and so Scott. Ethan came in $499.
Yeah, for those of you listening, between Michael Ranquillo, this is kind of how I want to lead the show. For those of you listening after the fact, just this is Broncos for Breakfast, brought to you by Broncos Country. Michael Ranquillo earlier coming in with 10,000 stars. Ethan coming in, DWI guys coming in with $500 on the super chat. Couldn't get sponsors to pay to sponsor us for that type of support. And you know what? And we don't need to because of y'all. So thank you incredibly. Now I'll actually read what Ethan has to say. It says, great show, gents. You guys are the best. You're the best. Like I said, Broncos for Breakfast, brought to you by Broncos Country. You guys are the best. Food for thought on Broncos for Breakfast. Well, I think we will trade for Aaron Rodgers, but if I'm wrong, why not draft 2 quarterbacks like Washington did with Griffith and Cousins? Hedge your bets. I'm okay with that. The strange thing, especially when you can draft, you don't have to worry about them transferring out. You can't do that in college. In college, I always said when you recruit 2 guys, I always say keep recruiting both of them because one of them's leaving in a year. That's just the way it works. But in this case, absolutely. If you've got an extra pick and somebody falls around the 7th, you're like, you know what? This kid's got a lot of moxie to him. Let's bring him in. Bring him in. Why not? Even if we throw him on the practice squad, why not? You got a bunch of picks. Again, and as Nick says, why not bring in another one the next year? If you're still not sure, stack them up. How important is that position? We've been talking about the damn position since I've been on the show for a year. It's that important. Yes, it is.
I'm having an anxiety attack because I don't even know what to say. Ethan, God, man, I'm like shaking. That's incredible. Yeah, I'm having a hard time after that one, guys. That's I don't even know what to say. Thank you so much. I guess I'll try to rein it in and bring it back to football. Eli, best fans in football, absolutely.
Don't get any arguments from me. No, yeah. I mean the way that I've come in here as an outsider and been embraced by Broncos Country. You won't get any arguments from me. I can't say as best by yourself because again, I don't have all that information. I don't know all the fan bases, but you'd be hard pressed to be beat. I promise you that. Big fan of what I've seen with the Bills and the Bills Mafia. They've treated me great too. Yep. But knowing you set the bar, you're not going to beat it. All you can best do is hope to tie.
Yeah, he just broke that has to be close to if it didn't break the all-time record for a super chat.
I think that's the max that you can do. And I think he set his own because I think he was allowed to come in with that much in euros or pounds, which that came in. But that's the max. You're maxing this out. When he's swinging the hammer, he's hitting the gong.
I mean, he broke the bell. It's still going.
Like I'm turning around and I'm going hoping my wife wasn't watching this guy. That's what I'm hoping.
I'm flabbergasted.
The guy I coach baseball with like this, I've done a lot more public speaking than he has. And whenever he has to address the parents afterwards, he gets all choked up. I'm like, I'll take over. Here we go. So Nick, grab some coffee. Captain Cush. I don't recognize that name either. So thank you for coming. And Eli saying the best fan base coming with a super. Eli, that name feels new to me as well. So love all the new names. Love the growth of the show and the reach. And all of y'all liking, sharing, and subscribing and reaching more Broncos fans is working. We're getting more and more views. Matt Corral, Jeff Garcia. If Garcia had a great arm, Kenny Pickett with Gabbard's pocket presence. Dalton's arm and Heineke's mobility and Stewie Griffin's hands.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I'm afraid of, Captain Cush? I'm afraid he goes to New Orleans and becomes the next Drew Brees.
Yeah.
That's what scares me. That's what scares me with Kenny Pickett is he goes there. I don't think he can be the next Drew Brees without Sean Payton, though. I think that is a, we debate all the time, Nick, about is it the quarterback or is it the coach? In this case, I think it was a tandem partnership. I really do.
Yeah. And I agree with you 100%. I like Corral. I like a lot of these quarterbacks. It will be interesting to see how they all play out. Again, though, as much as I'm definitely a frugal uh, personnel person, I like them all so much that give me the last one on the board because I don't feel a certain way about any specific one over the rest of them. I guess I do like Malik Willis than the rest of them, but I think he's going to go first. He might even go before the Broncos pick. But as far as Kenny Pickett, Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder, and Matt Corral, give me the last guy on the board. I think that's the route to go. Holy Diver saying, try not to be too giddy about money, boys. It's not even the money. It's just the support and the fact that we have a community here that wants to listen to two nerds vent and talk about football. Like
yeah. And Holy Diver, let me rephrase this for you just a little bit. It's humbling.
Yeah.
Knowing somebody, I'm not out here going, okay, I'm shopping. I'm going on Amazon right now and shopping because it's humbling that someone would take their hard-earned money and show support to you. I never really liked going to weddings that much. I was like, nobody cares if I'm there or not. That's just me. And then when I got married and I saw all those people there for me and my wife, it was humbling. And I never forgot that. And anytime I get invited to a wedding, I go because I remember every single person that was there. And it was humbling. And the support that y'all show to Nick and I is humbling. So let me see if I can put that in perspective just a little bit more.
Yeah, it's incredible. Circling back around to the offensive tackle discussion here today. Michael coming in too, big time support. Great show on the.
And we're not, like I said, I'm not here shaking a can. I'm not.
No,
we're not here on the corner trying to, with a sign saying, "Hey, please feed the family." We're not. But this is how I make a living, and I can because of you, and I love you for it.
Yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable. Great show today from Michael saying for Broncos for breakfast with Nick and Scott. Go Broncos. We'll also see you guys tomorrow on Scott's channel. We're doing a special Friday show because of the combine. But back to the point about right tackle, left tackle.
Just because we have a point.
Yes, I did. I did have a point. The game has changed to an extent where we have much more shotgun passes in today's NFL. So the true blind side isn't as true. When you're up at behind the center and you're doing your drop back, yes, that is a blind side. But when you're already at depth, there's not really a true blind side because you're already going to be able to see both sides. So left tackle, right tackle, equally valuable. The other thing is teams have figured out over the last 15 years what took them so long. That hey, let's put our best pass rusher against the weakest player. So if your worst pass protector is your right tackle,
I was going to say, Nick,
put him over.
I agree with you 100% because teams are going to react.
Yep.
It's like, well, if your left tackle is your best guy, I'll flip my rushers.
100%.
And there is a difference. Like, can you play from this side or that side? But it's not a huge difference. It's not like going from third base to first base.
Yep.
It is different.
And that's one of the things, like Orlando Brown Jr. freaking out at the Ravens, being like, I'm a left tackle. I want to get paid like a left tackle or right tackle. I think the smart teams don't give a hoot if you're left or right tackle.
But their agents do. And that's dumb. The thing is I want to get paid. And we'll go to Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is a tight end. But when it comes up for contract negotiations or franchise tags or anything like that, they're going to call him a wide receiver because the money's double.
Yeah.
His agent will.
I'm curious to see Micah Parsons. Hey, I'm a pass rusher, not a linebacker, because the difference in pay there is unbelievable. But yeah, no, we also got Salvi Nation coming in. Good morning, Nick and Scott. Aaron Rodgers can stay in Green Bay with his drama. Let's bring a quarterback in the draft and forget that idea. Definitely possible. That I think Aaron Rodgers is going to stay. We'll see if that becomes a true reality, but it seems likely. As far as quarterback in the draft, my plan right now, if you were asking me what's going on, I am bringing in one of Trubisky, Winston, or Mariota with a caveat that they are a short-term deal. I'll give them a 2-year deal that in essence is a 1-year deal with the way the contract is set up. So you can move on from them after 2022. And I think all those guys being former, top 2 draft picks, I would say they do still have a high ceiling. Didn't work out in their previous situations, but we've seen flashes of very good quarterback play for them. I think you got some boom or bust ability with them. Let those guys come in, and depends on the contract, but I'd let them compete with Locke. And then I'm also using a pick 40, pick 64, or maybe even trading back up into the first round for a quarterback. And guess what? I'm looking at quarterback again in 2023, but I'm stacking the room that way this year and hoping that cream rises to the top.
And Salvi Nation, appreciate the support. I also think that a lot of the drama is media driven. It's not necessarily Aaron Rodgers creating this drama. It's the media who has a 24-hour news cycle and 17 channels on ESPN The O Show to fill. That creating the drama is good business. It is. It's good business. So they milk this. I think, Aaron Rodgers, really the only thing he said is he wants to have a decision by the time free agency comes around. The GM was asked this weekend, when does he expect a decision? He's like, he's hopefully March 16th. So anything before that is just speculation. After that, we start going, okay, dude, it's time for the better of your team and your teammates to make decisions. But anything before that, that's just us yapping, honestly. And I mean by us, I mean people with a microphone or a keypad that are speculating. So I don't put too much of this on the player when it comes to creating the drama and all this type of thing. It's media driven. The media is the ones that are generating revenue from Aaron Rodgers, not the other way around.
Yeah. Nope. I'm with you on that. And it's the news cycle, right? It's the 365 news cycle. And they're Pat McAfee teasing every Tuesday. Oh, the big Aaron Rodgers reveal, hey, let's tune in. Let's drive that SEO or whatever. Let's turn it up. Speaking of driving us, Mark Schrader coming in, another one of the big time supporters of the show. Good morning, LOL. Lots of love to you as well, Mark. Appreciate you. Shout out to Scott's mom on that one.
Jeremy says the Ocho has really gone downhill since Cotton left. Jeremy, can you believe one of my friends from our soccer team, a soccer dad that's my age, has not seen dodgeball? Can you believe that? I was talking about to my son, and we'll get out of here. I know we're running late. But I was talking with my son about my daughter's 10U softball team playing against a girl that was a grown woman. She was like 5'9" and 10 years old. And I was like, and he mentioned something to see the parents. I'm like, yeah, her mom had a full beard. And then he used the low-grade beaver tranquilizer line from Dodgeball, which just totally cracked me up. And someone hadn't seen Dodgeball at this age. I'd understand if Nick hasn't seen Dodgeball. The movie's old. Nick, have you seen Dodgeball? A true underdog story?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Of course. Classic.
Thank you. Yeah. But yeah, the Ocho has gone downhill. They lose their rights, Paramount Plus and NBC, the Peacock and all this type of stuff that I don't know if there's enough for the Ocho and the Nueve anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Dodgeball. Well, guys, we probably got to get on out of here. Eric Weber coming in too. Morning MHH and Broncos country. I'd deal with some drama if we had a back-to-back MVP as our quarterback one. Me too. God, what would we do 3 years from now? What would we do during the 3 years between? Not be looking for a quarterback and talking next year that we're not good enough and we're looking up at the Derek Carrs, the Mahomeses, and the Justin Herberts of the world. Hey, sign me the F up. What do you need to sign in blood? I got some. Let's do a blood oath. I don't care. Let's do it. Do we have to do, what is it, Aaron Rodgers ghee cleanse where we're purging from both orifices?
I think it becomes, is he going to retire this year? Will he or won't he? That would be the next narrative. Is he going to retire? This is last year.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We also got Kathy coming. Kathy is a big time contributor and voice of constant reason and levelness in the Mile High Huddle superfan group. So shout out to Kathy here. I see it, Kathy. I really appreciate you on there. Sometimes I think people get a little bit, it's Facebook, and sometimes things can get a little bit hostile, I guess is the word. Everything is super emotionally charged these days. But Kathy's always very calm, cool, and collected and offers good perspective. So shout out to you. Thanks for the nice distraction from what's all happening here in Europe. Go Broncos and draft Cross at 9, please. Thank you so much, Kathy. As far as Cross at 9, from what I'm gathering from the combine, the Broncos do not expect Cross to be there at 9. It sounds like from everything that I've heard, it would be a shock if Cross falls past pick 6 because the Panthers are not expecting Iquanu/Neal to be there at 6. And the Panthers sound like a lot of people are like, oh, Kenny Pickett at 6. Maybe, but I think from what I'm gathering, this is from Charles Robinson at Yahoo Sports. as well. Panthers looking at best offensive lineman available at 6 this year. And then after the draft is over, chips to the table, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that's interesting to me because if three offensive tackles are gone in the top 6 picks, there's going to be some really good players available at 8 and 9.
It lines up a lot like the 2013 draft, where you had a bunch of tackles go early because it was not a very good class, and they were looking for the height, weight, speed guys at the top. Take those because that's one of the things where there's a specific body type you pretty much need for the tackle position. So that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like the Panthers are looking to take the best offensive lineman available. There's a reason that people keep mocking offensive tackles there to the Panthers as well. Daniel Jeremiah had Trevor Penning going there, not as high on Cross himself as some other people, but Cross / Penning / maybe Tyler Linderbaum. Their offensive line is terrible. You saw it last year. It's either them or the Falcons is one of the worst two that I watched last season.
There is no war.
They're pretty bad. They have Taylor Moton. At least they have a pillar there at right tackle. But the rest of it was pretty. The Panthers, I think, have started a new left tackle 8 straight years, which is insane. That's got to be a record. I can't even imagine.
All right. We're at an hour 10. I want to say thank you one last time to all of our supporters, and not just the again. There's supporters with the supers and Facebook, but everybody hitting likes and sharing and coming in here and contributing to the chat in a positive way makes this a great show for us. And hopefully it's a great show for you. So thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for supporting us today. You can find Scott and I on Twitter. Scott is at Scout Kennedy, and I'm at Nick Kendell MHH. Also, make sure you're following us on Twitter at Huddle Up Pod and at Mile High Huddle. If you guys have any questions on there, and I can't speak for Scott, but I can speak for myself. At me on Twitter. Hit up the DMs. If you want to talk a little bit more about a specific prospect or put somebody on my radar, say, hey, Nick, you said this. I really agree with it, or I really disagree with it. I'm open-minded. Anybody who results in ad hoc attacks when they are pushed up against an opinion or something or can't support their own analysis by logic and data, that's a bad take to begin with. So come at me if you have something. Let's have a discussion about it, and let's both grow from it. I'm always looking to be challenged on my perspective. I love it. Actually.
And frankly, Nick, sometimes we make mistakes. Scott, you took Desmond Ridder at 40. Yeah, I screwed up. I didn't really mean to. I didn't mean to. We do this live. We're not checking everything constantly, and sometimes we'll make mistakes, and I'll let you know if I screw up.
We don't have a producer in the background pulling up information for us constantly.
Michael's coming in, sending us off. Jacob's coming in with more stars. Michael's coming in with more stars. Love you guys. I really do. Michael, I got an email notification that your Broncos for Breakfast mug, just a small contribution, a small way of us saying thank you, has shipped. So hopefully the next day or two. Yeah. Oh, and my final question on here that Jeremy isn't here. You usually ask me, what any final thoughts, Scott? Yes. He says, anytime someone says the funniest movie of all time in the past 6 or 7 years, I feel bad for them. Well, if they don't answer Blazing Saddles, they're wrong. So there's opinions and there's facts. That one's facts. I taught my son, when anybody asks you the greatest rock band of all time, your answer is Led Zeppelin. That's a fact. Not my favorite, but I think they're the greatest. So Blazing Saddles, that's the answer. We're done.
I will say for me, maybe there's a little bit of nostalgia there. I could watch Forgetting Sarah Marshall on loop forever, and I don't think I'd ever get bored of it. That one just absolutely kills me. Guys, make sure you're following us at Mile High Huddle. If you guys are on Facebook, make sure you're heading to our Facebook group at facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod, as well as facebook.com/Mile High Huddle. On YouTube, we have a bunch of people joining us today. Not as many reacts on my end that I can see as I would like. So if you haven't done so yet, you're still here joining us. Make sure you click the thumbs up, heart react, care emoji, laugh react. We got it all coming in here. We got a wow from Dave Glassman and Tim Durr. Carolina Lenz gave us the care emoji. If you haven't done so yet, please do that. For those of you listening after the fact, or if you have an iTunes, make sure, please, you head over to iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating and review. There are a lot of great football content producers, Broncos content producers out there. And they also deserve their flowers, but we like to think with the amount of effort, time, back and forth with the community that we have, that we're a very unique experience compared to other show producers out there. So make sure that you're going to Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star rating and say what you like about the shows, what's your favorite show, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, like, subscribe, and share on YouTube. Share it on your social media platforms. It's a shout out again. Call your mom. She misses you. Also say that, hey, I'm having a great time on the Huddle Up podcast. Maybe you should come out. We have this thing called Facebook Mother. You should come hang out. Moms know about Facebook in this day and age, I guess. But Scott, it's probably about time to get out of here. We're going to be live again on your show tomorrow over at oh my gosh, where's your page, Scott?
Yeah, I dropped the link. I dropped the link in the chat while you were closing us out. So come see us. We're going to do some Combine Reacts tomorrow on youtube.com/c/Scott Kennedy as some of the numbers start rolling in. And we'll be live tomorrow at same time, 9:30 Eastern, 7:30 Mountain, 6:30 Pacific. And after that, it's too much math.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's a lot of math. I was promised there'd be no math. You guys are great. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow on Scott's channel. You guys have a great rest of your day. Happy March 3rd. Combine measurements are starting to trickle in. We got some measurements in from Matt Corral, Traylon Burks, Drake London, Jahan Dotson. So a lot of fun. We'll see you guys tomorrow on Scott's channel. Choose kindness. Choose compassion. Go Broncos.